as nearly $70 as it is. Because I just found out today, you know, because we have a garden and we do a lot of water and we have plants and we grow our own fruits and vegetables, and I planted some fruit trees, that there's a garden water use, which I will be doing for next year, that will help me because it's not going in the sewer, it's going to feed the family.
Right.
So, which is something we will be utilizing. But in the meantime, the $5 increase just seems very high.
Well, I'll lead off, and if any other commissioners want to jump in. When we discussed it, I mean, the whole purpose of doing this is to recover our costs. We don't make money on the water system. It is pretty much a pay-as-you-go operation. And with inflation hitting, I mean, I know we're all hit by everything that's been going on in the economy in general, and it's just been tearing us up. The parts we buy to repair with, because when you have damage, it's an old system. There's a lot of stuff that breaks down. Like I say, we look to see, and we really started at one point to try to go like at a midpoint. But if we're going to recover our costs, that's where we had to go. But we can talk about it again when we bring that item up and see, just what the consensus is. But and quite frankly, and one of the other things we looked at, were we comparable? And we're where the county is with their water system. We looked at other units, and we were pretty close there with them. And like I say, it's just a cost recovery operation. It is not to make money to pay, any of the other expenses of the city. So.
Yes, and I saw there's over a $60,000 bill coming up with the new water tower and all the other work that I looked up online.
Yeah, there's like I say, it's one of those things.
And I understand that, but as Social Security, we have not had our increase yet. So everything is increasing, and so by the time, I'm going to have an $80, $90 water bill just for my vegetables. So I'm just like, wow.
But do take advantage of the summer watering program. If you're doing that, absolutely, because that'll cut that sewer way down.
All right, so it's called the Summer Water Program.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that was my, I wanted to address and have that looked at, and maybe not such a large increase all at once.
We appreciate it. It's very nice to have people from the public make comments. That usually doesn't happen. So
I know, I'm like, I think we might be the only ones there. And that's all we're here for, so I guess we can head out?
If you're good, we're good. Thank you so much.
The rest is all your bidding work, right?
We have lots going on in the city of Bristol, a little town, lots going on.
Well,
Thank you so much for your comments.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, sir.
I heard y'all had a city councilman spot open, so I come from for y'all to see if y'all would nominate me, take one of them spots.
Well, we do have a city councilman open.
I tried this about 6 months ago and got
Okay. You're I remember that now. Okay.
I'm the recreational director, which run all the youth sports and do a lot of things for these kids right here and for the for the community and stuff. So I'm trying it again.
Okay. And comment from the
for the same thing, please. Sorry about that.
So actually, I want somebody. We need it.
All right. So we have two people interested. Since the chair's not here,
And I think that would be like an actionable item, would need to be on the agenda.
Yeah. Which, number one, I'm thrilled to find people that is, thank you, good Lord, we need people to get up here and participate in our government. But
That's true.
Robin, do you have the information so we can put that on, because it'll need to be on our actual agenda?
We actually have the mayor's position open and one council seat right now. In January, there will be 2 council seats. So,
Mr. Collins, he's well known in the community. If he wants to take the council, I'll step into the mayor or vice versa, just till get it through for the end of the year.
Well,
Okay, I take it for mayor too.
so we got. Well,
I'm just glad y'all got somebody to do it.
Then we definitely will have it on our next agenda, and I can tell you, I'm enthusiastically supporting that we got people wanting to participate in government role here. So please, and you know everybody, Robin, okay, so we've got you, thank y'all so much, boy. And I do know Mr. Kersey because he did this wonderful job. That's what I did, and I learned a lot from him, so this is good news, great, thank you. Wow, public night, anybody else? All right. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have the minutes from the September 13th tentative village and budget hearing. Do we need to do these one at a time or something? The minutes of the September 13th regular council meeting, September 20th, 21 final millage and budget hearing, and September 2021 special council meeting. If y'all have had time to look at everything, do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the
Motion by Mr. Val.
previous.
Second by Ms. Marion. And we're all in favor. Monthly bills for payment, everybody should have had that. And while we have that, just before we actually vote on it, the question I would have, and I guess really I direct it to Robin, is do we have to approve these? You know, I mean, because we approved the budget, and do we need to then approve it, you know, as long as it's within the budget that we've approved? Because I thought from an audit standpoint, the mayor was the one that, you know, kind of looked at the package and said, you know, everything's in order. So I just wondered, do we need to do this as an action item for the council? I looked at our charter as best I could, and I didn't see it, so I didn't know.
We're talking about the sealed bid?
Not the, no, the monthly bills for payment.
Oh, no, definitely we need the council to approve, so that it's oversight, making sure we have dual control, you know.
Okay, because I thought the mayor was doing that, was looking at the bank statements.
She does look at the bank statements, but you want your council members to be aware and look at those fund summary vouchers and make those approvals. That's part of our process that's approved through our auditors to, our segregation of duties and all.
Do we ever run into issues where, because we haven't met yet to approve the bills, that we
Something was
have
paid.
something late, or?
If something comes in late, I try to put up here if it's a normal thing, like pending the invoice coming in, and then I'll list it down here like post-meeting, so you're actually approving it at the next month post, but you see what's coming through. Like last month, Verizon came in late in our utility fund, and then I have my postage check for mailing our postage bills and all. So I do still try to list them so that you are, maybe, you know, it's after the fact, because it has to be sent out, but so y'all see that, and I try to list it up here as pending the invoice coming in, so you know at least that that's something I'm planning on paying.
And I think the question was, we know we have incurred bills, and if we have to move money from something else to pay, then we have to vote on that. If we incur a new bill or a new piece of equipment, then yes, we have to vote on that. But these are bills that we've already approved, and that was the question was, you know, especially if the mayor's got to write, somebody's got to write the check, you know.
Yeah, well, she does it, the mayor will inspect the bank statements to make sure there's nothing that looks like it's been tampered with or altered, but I can tell you, the auditor's gonna want your eyes on those bills.
Okay. Well, maybe, because we should have the auditor here at some point, soon, or at some point for the audited financial statements, and maybe we can discuss it with him, because it does seem like a secondary thing. You know, it's because I know the mayor or the chair signs the checks with the clerk, so, you know, I guess it's just, we've always done it, but we'll talk to the auditor. I think that's a good idea.
I just, you know, as long as we have a process in place that we don't, because I've heard of some of the boards around here that have late, then things get canceled because they don't get paid.
No.
I won't mention which one, but.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, we're
We
not
won't-
gonna
we
get
won't.
canceled. If I have to pay something, I want your eyes on it. You are the legislative, I mean, you need to be knowing what you're paying and what's going on in the city and be actively engaged in that, for sure. I'm not gonna let something get disconnected. Like I say, I will pay, but I will list it for your
That's right.
post-approval.
And that's fine.
Thank you, Chris. We'll get the current business, item 8. We're
So
gonna
did we
open.
approve the bills? Did we do
Oh,
that?
no, motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Val.
Second.
Second by Ms. Mary. All in favor? Aye. We are approved. Current business, item 8, open sealed bids for water and wastewater system Hurricane Michael repairs 3 years afterwards.
We only had one bid coming
You
in.
know what we're doing.
This is bidding closed city wastewater repairs, infrastructure incorporated, P.O. Box 486 Tallahassee.
Tracy's things, tell us the names.
Received 10,
That's the max
11,
payments paying on that. So if it's
Yeah.
more than that, if they're gonna pay out of pocket, or whatever, that's.
Please, don't be. Please.
We can do that.
to, no.
Not good.
You gotta keep it in mind that things are going up significantly since FEMA,
All right, this was invitation bid, city water and wastewater system repairs. On page 2, the bid total for city water and wastewater system repairs, total amount of $272,350.
Oh, that's significant.
yeah.
It's very significant.
So let me explain something on that real quick. Miss Tracy sent a email last Friday.
We have that.
Okay, the max bid amounts.
Yep.
So there was one discrepancy on there, and I want to make sure, did they take the lift station number 1 off that bid? I haven't looked at it, but.
It looks like it is off, it's not on.
Okay, so that was one that had a tree fall on it, and they just gave us a concrete, total 23 cubic yards of concrete to replace a whole lift station, tank, I guess you'd say, and that that wasn't feasible or fair to ask for a bid to replace that just going off of the concrete price. So, we removed that, it didn't really need to be done, but there was also the, discrepancy of the generator at the Mishaw Road well, behind the baseball field. And that generator was 100 kilowatts, and it was donated by the Navy, so I mean, it was for free that the city got it, and you're getting money to replace that. And so that's how it was listed, but the Ring Power representative that gave the bid for the generator, I'm sure, he was like, that's way overkill than what you need. I mean, we could use something a fourth of what they called out, really, So I told him to give, and I think he's known for being really high, so I'm not sure what that generator price is, but
It's high.
yeah, so that might be the bulk of what the prices are coming from, maybe, and maybe we can back that down and give a letter to FEMA and say, hey, based on the specs of the pump out there and everything, we don't need this generator, we want to replace it with this and still get that money. So we'll give this to Tracy and let Tracy look through the numbers and make sure they're good with FEMA before we move forward.
Yeah, because by her max bid, we were at about 60,000 and some change,
Yeah.
and we're here at 272,000. So
And that guy had that before, so I'm not sure what he's.
yeah, so
What was the generator?
135.
Okay, yeah, so but still way over.
Yeah, you're still, I mean, significantly. And that's hurts the pocketbook real bad.
Yeah.
Anybody on the council have any thoughts about this predicament we're in here?
So table it.
I thought we
I
did.
say table it until.
Yeah, I
we can
just,
talk
I
to
mean, I
Tracy.
know our finances, there's
Yes.
no way we can jump on that at this point.
And honestly, a lot of those repairs, you see the ground, or the, what's it called, the valve cover box, that's on there. I mean, there's a number of those lift stations had that. It was, redoing the side of the ground storage tank at the Copley well, across from Michael's house on Freeman Road. You know, the outside of that, some of the building and everything, so, which, that's needed out there, but there's a lot of the little things around the lift stations that, you know, could be done, could not. It was just like an aesthetic kind of thing. So, maybe they'll allow us to work the money around a little bit. But yeah, I say let Tracy reach out to her FEMA contacts and see what we
Okay.
can do. That's very
So
high.
is there a motion to table?
I'll make a motion to
Mr.
table.
Bowles, is it table?
Second.
Second by Ms. Mary, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion's tabled. The item's tabled. Item 9, accept proposal by Dewberry Engineers for admin services for CBDBG, DR, and CDBG MIT Administrative Services contingent upon receipt of funding, contract not to exceed $250,000. Who do we turn that one over to, Robin?
So these are the proposals we opened last month. I did, and I'll put it in your packets, I did reach out to DEO to confirm that they would, that they approved our procurement process, because typically they like to see 3 bids come in. But I had sent out to 37 women and minority business in addition to our regional ads. So they responded back and said as long as the cost of the contract is less than $250,000, that we could proceed with accepting that bid, that proposal. So for the administration services, it is.
And it was like 140,000, so we were well in. So,
So-
and the scoring ranked them,
They were the only ones
you know,
that came in and they
90
ranked high.
90 plus on all
Right,
categories,
correct.
so.
So, for the administration services, I think we are very safe to move forward, and we can get that out of the way, and then we'll discuss the engineering
Right.
part of that.
So do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept them.
Motion by Mr. Bowles,
Second.
second by Ms. Mary, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion's approved. Item's approved. Item 10 now would be to negotiate pricing with Dewberry for the professional engineering services related to the same project, not to exceed $250,000. And you wanna
Right.
Tell us
So,
what.
so at this point, what you'll do is, you need to come up with an acceptable negotiation with Dewberry. Noah, I'm assuming is speaking on behalf of Dewberry. So to accept their proposal, we'll need to know that their engineering services fee will not exceed $250,000. And let me clarify on these. This is on the project that we are funded for right now, that we know we're receiving funding for, is the hometown revitalization, $1.9 million. So if if y'all come to an agreeable number on that, then we can move forward with them on that. Now, when it may get to be an issue, but each of these projects we'll have another DR project if we get funded. It'll be for the almost $7 million project on our wastewater conversion and our stormwater project. That they may not fall within $250,000, which means for that specific project, we would have to re-advertise for engineering services or whatever, or whichever ones don't. So as long as their contracts on any of these grants that we've advertised for fall within, because each one will be an individual contract.
So it's covered.
Well, so and I have a quick question, because you've done more research on it than me and talked to DEO, but, and I'm not worried about the hometown revitalization, but the $6 million one, because that is completely changing the force main to gravity sewer project, right? So that's, a lot of services that, outside of my office, you know, that we've got to pay. But is that, the DEO policy is 250? And then, and you have to do it you have to get 3 contractors for that? And I'm just curious because.
Well, Florida statute says you're supposed to have 3.
Chapter
So if
287.
and if you can't get
And
3.
you can't, but you have to, most of the time, they will require you to re-advertise, at least try another time.
Okay.
To reach
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
Now, because this fell below the 250, they said, and we had reached out to 37.
Right.
They said, you're okay to proceed.
And quite frankly, I mean, when you got, I'm shocked we didn't get bids for this. I mean, you know, close to $2 million is a lot of money. And you would think, I mean, we've had, you know, other things we get the bids on. So I guarantee you, we get up there on the big one, I think
Yeah.
you will have some competition, because that's what it's about. That's what
Yeah.
Chapter 287 is for.
Right. And I get that. And I think a lot of people don't venture out of theirs and they kind of know that we handle this and so maybe they scare them off, which I don't care. I'm confident we would score well. That was just my question.
Yeah.
But I want to say on the hometown revitalization one, obviously, it's not quite my call. It's not my call of how much our task order is. That's for Justin to decide. But, you know, we're both from Bristol. I don't think we definitely won't need anything more than 250. I'm not sure exactly what we'll need. I think we'll be able to use a lot of what DOT just surveyed along Highway 20 for this resurfacing, so, for their surveying. But, so just know, there's gonna be no issue with that either.
Do we need to have a proposal back to us for us to formally accept, or how do we?
Are we good to go on that hometown, I mean, is all the paperwork done? From
On the
DEO
hometown?
and City of Bristol?
Right now, they're waiting on us to present them who the grant administrator will be,
Okay.
so that they can finish preparing the paperwork
Okay.
and all. So once we have that in place, so, I think, because you're not gonna start on engineering before we have the
The
other.
next.
I think it would be wise to get with Justin and find out either by percentage or dollar amount, what y'all anticipate, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
charging, so you know what you're,
So,
I mean, because it should, usually it's a specific either by percentage or by,
Yeah,
so
But
we'll do
dollar
that at
amount.
the November meeting then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do we need to table this to November?
I think so.
We'll
So
table.
a motion to table until November.
By Chris,
Second.
second by Ms. Mary, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
We'll do it next month. Item 11 is the proposed enactment of the Water Ordinance 2021-01. And we don't have a mayor, do we have to read it?
The attorney can read it by title, it has to be read. We have to have that.
This is 2021-01, is that right?
Uh-huh. Yes, sir.
All right. City of Bristol, Florida, ordinance number 2021-01, an ordinance revising City of Bristol ordinance dated August 26, 1985, July 24, 1989, April 7, 1997, October 25, 1999, May 25, 2006, January 10, 2011, and July 6, 2015. Amending rates to be charged for use of municipal water services, classification of commercial users, water meter deposits, surcharge for non-municipal customers, water tap fees, late fees, connection fees, disconnect fee for interrupted services, after-hours fee, return check fee, tampering fee, and other fees, connections to water system, severability, and effective date.
Thank you, Judge. Anyone on the council have any discussion? We've talked about it a time or two before, so.
And I did include, again, just for your reference,
The
the Liberty
counties.
counties. And what I would bring attention to with ours, I know our rate's not a lot less than theirs, but if you look at the per 1,000 gallon rate, theirs is significantly higher than ours, and that's sort of an indicator of what it's taken to operate your systems, that, you know, so, where ours is, so that's,
Anybody want to make a motion?
I just think it's something that has to be done, really.
I mean, we
We
have
gotta
to-
move forward.
Yeah,
Can't go
well,
backwards.
y'all know the decision I took. I was not happy, but we got to pay our bills. It's unfortunate.
And we have to improve our infrastructure. you know.
That's, gosh, I hope this other grant will come through.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Motion by Mr. Val to approve ordinance number 2021-01.
Second.
Second by Ms. Mary, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Okay, did everybody, item 12, the Kimball family that lives down in Neal subdivision sent us a request for putting speed bumps in the Neal subdivision, and it seems like we've talked about speed bumps time and time again.
Tom, where do Kimball's live?
Below us,
How far?
somewhere down around Second Avenue, just before you get to Second Avenue.
Is it within the city or outside the county?
they are
One
just
Kimball lives
inside.
out, one Kimball lives in, right down the corner.
Just inside. In the past, we have
Yeah,
protected speed bumps. We
yeah.
paved that road to get natural speed bumps out of it.
And I tried this afternoon to look online, trying to do some reading about how effective are these things,
They tear up a car.
4 or 5.
and there was a lot of stuff I read that it's, you know, obviously vehicles that it's bad for, but it can create other accident problems because of them. And I mean, you know, it's obviously council's
I did
prerogative
request,
to talk about it,
yeah.
but.
I did request that the sheriff's office patrol that a little heavier, you know, and while they are, it might improve it, and then when they back off, it probably will.
Y'all go to Conyers Road and check out their speed bumps.
So-
They take out a front end.
No,
And rear.
so.
Do we have any?
I'm not a fan of speed
Okay,
bumps.
then I think maybe the way to handle item 12 is, Robin, to
Like
communicate
action.
that we discussed it and decided it's not time for things like that. Item 13, I don't know if y'all saw Sheriff Money's request, but we've received our annual request. I think it's an annual request to make a donation for the trunk or treat.
And let me say this is to the city, but use what's in your packet if you'd like to contribute personally,
Hey,
or,
let me
yes.
blow something in that trunk or treat deal. We've been taking care of it for years. I mean, so as far as taking money out of the city funds, the fire department's been picking up that tab. We do that. We do the parades. We got one coming off the 15th. I don't know who sent this to you.
The sheriff, in the past, y'all have done candy, but this council's also give additional, that's totally their prerogative. if they want to.
Yeah, they want, but I mean, we got our own trunk and our own truck sitting at the trick or trunk. I don't believe passing it on to the sheriff's department, even though we take care of it. So now do what you want to do.
Anyone on the council have any comments or thoughts or?
No. Dale,
Sir,
I maybe not understand what you're saying. Y'all donate candy.
we nominate time, truck,
Uh-huh.
and candy.
Uh-huh.
And me and Carol used to pick up the tab back before we had any money. We paid, I mean, the city, we paid for everything. But since we got a little something going on, we'll pick up the candy and then Robin reimburse us for that candy. But that's double hitting us and the city. I mean, whatever y'all want to do, if you, I feel like we're going to take care of that. When we do the parade Friday, we throw out, I'm talking about a couple $100 of candy and the trick or trunks. So if y'all want us to hand it, y'all want to pass it on, I don't care. Y'all can give it to me like.
So, Robin, we, in the recent past, have reimbursed
In the
fire
past,
department,
both has happened.
and
Ain't been but a year,
And
this
my
past year or so.
and how much do we usually donate?
Yeah, I mean,
200 is what we've done. So, I
I
mean,
mean,
Reasonable.
I mean, I tell you, my thought, if we're doing that, I mean, I'd like to tell him, yeah, we're gonna do it, but we're putting $200 into, you know, Dale's fire truck and doing it that way. I mean, and it's contributed to it. That'd be my recommendation, but that's just, you know, it's,
So when you buy this candy, do you give them some? I guess,
No.
because they have.
Well, we give it
officers
out,
on
we give it all away, give it to all the kids.
Well,
And they've got blessings coming from everywhere, and I believe me, it ain't just like they ain't got nothing.
They don't run out, trust me.
Now, we might do it because we don't
Yeah.
get so much, and that's what we do. But I mean, I don't have a problem, whatever we gonna handle it, but.
I mean, it's up to y'all, you're the council, we're the council. So-
Y'all can't.
Just do it through the city.
I just oppose it.
Like, give it to him and do it like he did it last year.
So is that a motion to approve $200 to go to the sheriff's part, and whatever Dale does, we do separately?
Mr. Chairman, before, I know I'm not have a vote. Could I ask Mr. Dale one thing, just to get some clarification, because I still am confused. Is that okay?
Yes, yes.
So Mr. Dale, you're saying that y'all and then the city will contribute to like having the fire truck at the event
Yeah.
and then give out stuff as?
Yes.
Okay.
We represent the city pretty good.
We've been doing it for the last 10 years. I mean, it just didn't start happening. But the COVID thing kind of got us that one time, or 2 times
We average $300 in candy.
per run if it's to the parade and to, well, not quite that much in
Yeah.
the parade, but not that much.
150 for the parade, 150 for.
I got you, because I got one of these letters too,
Did you
as a
really?
business.
Yeah.
But if I was like to just give the sheriff's office money, then they would use it towards just buying candy to have out there. But you're saying we got, the fire truck goes out there.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
Okay, I understand. Sorry.
We don't solicit nobody for anything, okay?
I mean, I got that. I mean, we've had a practice of reimbursing the fire department, and we've had a practice of donating to the sheriff's department.
That is what Roman said, yes.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that, I don't think.
Then what would your motion be? I mean, how much do you want to do?
Well,
Ms. Mary had a motion on the table. We just need to
I'm
clarify what her
sorry, Mayor,
motion
what was your
was.
motion? I apologize, I'm not good at running these.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I said just do it like we've been doing it, but what would it, if you wanted to say keep the peace, we could do some for both. And it all gets out to the kids. and
Yeah, it all goes the same direction.
It all goes the same way, so I mean,
And it's a very good project.
and it kind of shows that we're kind of working with it.
So if we do it as we've done it, the motion would be from Ms. Mary, $200 to the sheriff's program and paying Dale for the reimbursement for the fire department.
I would say.
And that's second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approved.
Appreciate it, guys, whichever way it falls. We out for the kids, we ain't out for us.
That's right, I know, and that's what counts, and they're what's
They
important.
don't, some of them don't get nothing but that.
Right.
Item 14, y'all have the Ring Power annual service agreements for the generators. Michael had to run for something he had to get done, so he's not here to tell us what this was about, but.
That is like an annual service
Yeah.
agreement, so that they,
And I know we've talked about it before, that keeping those things up current is very important, so.
Robin, how many pieces y'all got on that?
he's got three different generators. that
Yeah,
he's
we've got the
Uh,
main plant, water waste main plant, Highway 12 water plant, and the Freeman Road lift station.
I'm all about having a regular annual service
Yeah.
agreement.
I make a motion we accept these.
Richard, did you look at those, or Martha, did y'all see them, are they price-wise what you would, everything?
No, we went over and looked at the one that, I don't know, that one I seen on Michelle Road everywhere.
No, it run last, we did it service, but
Yeah.
it's an antique.
Was it
Me and Lamar
school?
Ford got that thing from the Air Force base. So I don't know if
I
it's
mean,
long after
yeah,
that.
it's it's a big overkill, there's no doubt about that.
It
It was just big, it was a lot smaller generator. However, I don't know, this is, I don't know if that's the cheapest.
About the service.
Yeah, this is,
Yeah,
this,
that's service, yeah.
these are the service agreements.
I got sidetracked, I was still
Yeah,
thinking about the dinosaur.
That's that short timer's attitude.
I got it.
No, but it's ring power Caterpillars to do annual maintenance on
Yeah, I'm
those.
good, yeah.
So everybody's good? Okay, so we have the three.
They approved motion.
Motion approved by Mr. Val,
Second.
second by Ms. Mary, all in favor, aye. Approved. Item 15, approve the distribution of the $1,000 performance bonuses to the volunteer fire department. The call out be distributed with October's payroll, and y'all had the list of the volunteers.
And also the city personnel.
And the city personnel too, I'm sorry.
I make a motion to approve it.
Motion by Mr. Val,
Second.
second by Ms. Mary, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And having had an experience this past weekend with our volunteer fire department who I didn't have a fire, I had an emergency that required the helicopter to come in, or one of my family members did. Y'all do unbelievable work for this community, and you don't get near the recognition and appreciation you deserve, because you're there every time that bird's flying, every time somebody's in trouble. They even were down at the house checking. I mean, so we appreciate y'all a ton. Everybody, thank you. Okay, well, city staff reports. Mr. Noah,
Yes,
you're a
sir.
busy man.
Yes, sir. It never stops, which is good. So we talked about this a little bit, but I got a little more information from DOT. Right now they started this year of they just, I think, performed the survey of State Road 20. So that's coming up on their radar, I think, in probably 2023 actually, is their construction. They'll resurface State Road 20, and obviously that kind of coincides with our hometown revitalization grant of some of the upgrades, beautification aspects we want to see. And I know that they're going to be helping us with our lighting. They're actually going to be improving, adding 12 new lights, LED lights at the intersection here, County Road 12 and 20 intersection, and upgrade the crosswalks and everything. I'm not sure. We requested a meeting with them to kind of discuss that intersection and some of the difficulties we see there on a daily basis with the morning traffic and everything. So we want to bring them in and just see anything that happens with that signal, they're going to have to do and improve. So whether it be a left turn lane or whatever, just want to let y'all know that they're aware of our concerns. Ms. Robinson emailed to them about a week and a half ago. So look to have some type of workshop where they'll come, maybe as they get a little bit farther along into the design, and we can kind of tell them our concerns, whether it be, where the traffic diverges into one lane down at the Piggly Wiggly. If we want to ask them to extend that out a little farther so it's not so congested as you turn in the Pig or on the Schuler Road there, or the intersection. But like I said, they're going to be upgrading their lighting, and so I've already asked them, hey, can we tag along and just pay for the materials if y'all will do the design and the bidding process and everything of doing the extra lighting, upgrading the lighting throughout Highway 20? And they say, yeah, it's not a problem, we do that all the time. So that'll be a great help on that aspect of that hometown revitalization grant. The other thing that we want to look at is, as we're looking through the beautification, there's not a whole lot of room there along 20. It's a 5-foot sidewalk. We got 2.5 to 3 foot. It kind of varies in some areas. Utility strip. So They've got the on-street parking on both sides that we know hardly ever gets used. So kind of got that discussion with them to say, how much would it be to tear out that curb, bring it onto the road a little bit closer, and give the city, and I know y'all should have these, right? The typical sections, what they're called, and give the city a little bit more room to widen the sidewalk, plant trees, put in benches, stuff like that. Stuff that typical downtown areas have, so it doesn't look like just a through city. So you see the first one, the existing typical section. It shows the 6.5 foot parking area on both sides of the street, 4 12-foot lanes, a 5-foot sidewalk there on the outside, and roughly, like I said, on one side it's a 5-foot utility strip, the other side it's a 2.5. I think the 5-foot is mostly on the south side of the 20. And that's a concern. I don't want to mess anything up for Rocky and Richard and the maintenance guys. Don't worry about Rocky. Richard, yeah, Richard. By that time, Rocky will be on a boat somewhere, I'm sure. But so I don't want to mess anything up. We want to do it, but it's done in other areas. So there's got to be ways that we can work with this, to continue to improve, add additional aspects. So talking with them, they kind of said, look, we'll do any design that y'all want to do. They can include that into their design. You want to move the curb out, that's fine. But they said, just the way their program is, that money's already set aside. There's no going back and asking for more on that aspect. So it'll be on us, right? I'm not sure if y'all have ever been able to have a look at the cost estimate breakdown that we had for the hometown revitalization. But I put a few $100,000 in sidewalk upgrades, whether that be the detectable warning mats at every intersection or driveway, or just repairing messed up concrete. But that can also be towards widening the sidewalk if we want to. And I think they'll be very liberal with us in being able to use those funds however we see fit, as long as it kind of still is within the original guidelines of that grant, right? So, because we put a lot of money towards these buildings. We don't know exactly how much it'll cost to buy them and demolish them, but probably less than what we estimated it to be. We went high on everything. Anyways, anything we do out there, any upgrades we want to do, they'll do the design, they'll do the bidding, they'll include it in their inspection of their project. It'll be the same contractor that does the resurfacing and any kind of improvements, but then they'll send the bill to the city. So it's good that it's happening at this time, but we'll still be in charge of that. So it's just kind of a process of what direction we want to give them, so that they can figure out, okay, this is how much it's roughly going to cost you. The first proposed typical section number 1 is pretty much bringing that curb in, keeping the 4 12-foot lanes, bringing the curb in, creating a 10-foot concrete multi-use path. So right now it's 5, so I think you could reasonably say you can just add another 5-foot sidewalk along the edge there. One of their concerns is, as they were looking, State Road 20 is actually a U.S. road, and I don't quite understand, I can't quite remember all the details, but it's supposed to have a bike path. Currently there is no bike lane, and the sidewalk is 5 foot. That wouldn't qualify as a bike lane as well. So that multi-use path would have it. They already told me that even if y'all don't touch the sidewalk, or if we don't touch the curb, they're probably going to resurface it and include that on-street parking. Currently, at least one of those is going to be a bike lane, or they're going to put the markings there for a bike lane, so people biking through will have a designated area to bike through town. So that's happening. So I think that's one of their goals. When I brought this up to them, they said, "Oh, there's no bike lane. There's nowhere for anybody to safely ride a bike without being in the road." So I think they're going to address that one way or another. This one shows the 10-foot, sidewalk. It doesn't give a whole lot of more room for that additional landscaping, but it does widen sidewalks out like typical downtowns have. 5 foot is on the smaller side. I would, if we were to redo it, a new sidewalk, I'd say 6 foot, definitely at least. But 10 foot would give you that multi-use path of the bike lane. That's basically the only difference on that one. This one is your proposed ticket number 2, and it would again involve just bringing the curb in, leaving the existing sidewalk, which would save you the money, but redoing that whole section of that utility strip and basically expanding that utility strip to include the 9 foot on the back side of the curb and 9 foot on each side, 9 foot. So you'd have that room for additional benches, ornamental trees, whatever you'd like to see. That's 2 examples, and you can look at them more, you can talk about them and do your research if you want. Again, this is not a huge rush. We're just kind of starting the discussion. They're in the very beginning of starting this design, and they've got a year and a half to do it. So we'll have plenty of time to figure things out. But I just want to kind of get this on y'all's radar, get thinking about it, and reach out to me if you have any questions. And the man I'm working with at DOT, his name's Patrick Rourke. He's been extremely helpful, very attentive to everything we have to say. I think he's looking forward to the meeting with Robin or everybody if it's a workshop to kind of discuss and let's get some of these issues that we have down State Road 20 solved using their funds. So I just wanted to bring that to attention if y'all got any questions for me.
Thank you, Noah. The only question I'd have, or if the parking lanes disappear, what are the businesses? And I know we don't have a whole lot of them, but I know there sometimes I see the logging trucks parked to run into the subway and things like that. Are they gonna get excited about changes like that?
I'm not sure.
I guess as we go down, we probably need to make sure they're aware of what's going on.
We'll just need to make sure they're aware, because I guess, they can't do it in Bluntstown, so they'll just have to figure out another way to do it, I get, but you're right, we just need to make sure that the public's aware of that's gonna happen. Another example they did use, and I told them, I'll tell you what, it's probably not gonna fly in Liberty, but is they said, well, look, if you're looking for green space and beautifying, we can completely redo State Road 20 and add a median in the middle with your left turn lanes wherever you need them. And that way you can have a green space in the middle to kind of do what you want to do, but there'll be 2 lanes, 1 lane traffic on each side and then a center lane turn lane. I said, I don't know if that'll fly. I don't know if people will like that too much, but I told them I'd let the board know, and then they can bring that up later if that's what they want to decide. But I think that would probably be more than just the city, probably the county too, and everybody involved. And that's a major change, but I told them that's.
No, the median will take away the parking lane, correct?
Yeah, well, they would really, you got 12 foot there, so 24 foot on each side.
Yeah.
They would just pretty much make a 24-foot road in the middle, or strip median, with turn lane in the middle, and so you'd still keep it, you just pretty much have those outside lanes almost, so they can widen those even a little bit, maybe they'll make them 13 foot or something. But yeah, I think you still have the on-street parking in that aspect, or a bike lane, but you'd have that median and it'd be a little bit more traffic controlled. You can control your speed coming through town a little better with a median because it's tighter. But again, that's some of the stuff they're asking our input on. If we really want to do it, they'll design it that way and they'll bid it out that way. And if everything passes on their side, but just be thinking about what you want to see, the direction of the city.
All right. Thank you, Noah, for that, and I'm sure we'll be. I'm sorry, Richard. Yes.
I'm hiding back here. I have a question. Is that going to change the power poles out on Highway 20 also? Is that going to help us clean that up? And if so, do we want to think about maybe getting into our Christmas decorations and trying to do something a little bit different or nicer or something like that? Can we do that kind of stuff also?
So I'll tell you kind of our thoughts with the hometown revitalization money and upgrading that lighting down 20 was, I went to St. Joe last year or something. They had their light poles out with the banner bar going across where you can hang a banner. They had all their or their high school graduates out on those, pictures of them going down. And that's kind of my thought of the light poles currently that are off the power poles. But it would be working through DOT to add the new poles. And I think DOT, they're adding those 12 new lights, but they're also replacing like 18 lights with LEDs. So they would pay for the lighting, we pay for the pole, and they say, yeah, we do that stuff all the time whenever cities want to upgrade stuff. So we would upgrade the poles. Now, the big question is those power poles are obviously still going to be there. I think we reached out to Florida Public Utilities to try to get a meeting to kind of discuss, hey, what's the likelihood of y'all maybe burying those underground and helping the city out. I don't know if we'll have to put in money to do it, I don't know. But getting that conversation started to say, let's put these underground so that they're not crisscrossing the street all the way down and clean the skyline up a little bit. But I don't know, we've heard that.
How much longer do we have on our contract with them for utilities? Concession or whatever you call it, the monopoly?
I'd have to look that up, to be honest, because I think we went 10 years.
Yeah, if we have some leverage, you never know.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, I like that.
Yeah.
Gail?
We tried that before too, Tom, it didn't work too
Didn't
good.
work,
But
right.
anyway, we gotta figure on the water hydrants, fire hydrants, all them right close to the sidewalk. What's gonna happen there? Plus them, that old pipe that's underground that's in that deal, we done busted several just by tapping around on it. Trans pipe. So where are we at with that deal? Because them hydrants sitting right on that sidewalk, some of them may be on that side of the sidewalk, they are. Some of them's between the road and the sidewalk.
Yeah, we need to check that, be sure.
So, on trans out pipe or
He's talking about the 3-inch pipe that's over there at Keith's right.
something? It's right down below.
something?
the
Yeah, I've heard that.
Red lights.
Crossing the red light, I think,
But you need to think about that, though,
Yes, sir.
doing something with them, because it won't work.
Check valve update?
Yes, I talked to Mr. Lawson about that. Roughly, and we're still confirming the count. I know I've got 100 grinder pumps, and Richard's pretty sure we have more. We're detailing it down, but it's probably in the range of 120, 125 or so, you think?
Could be a little bit more. I didn't finish, I didn't get his email.
Yeah, so,
Lost it somewhere.
yeah, I sent Richard an email and it just got lost in transition. It's nobody's fault. But having said that, I talked with Zach, and his original bid, we revised it to $150 a valve. That's with the city buying the valve and the box that goes along with it. So we would dig it out, put it in a box, replace the valve. That way, all they gotta do is lift up the box. It's not gonna be buried or nothing, how it should be. So he gave the price of just labor only $150 when we did the Miller Road. $150 per valve. That's still with the city buying the valve, but roughly about $135 a valve. So, you're looking at $285. Having said that, and then also he had a $2,500 mobilization, but he said with this one, that one he's got a crew of guys that they come out and do these and from somewhere else, and they will come in. That one was 3 or 4 nights. He said, this one they won't have the equipment necessary, but they'll be staying a little bit longer, and so he wanted to add $1,800 for mobilization. So from $2,500 plus $1,800, $4,300 for mobilization. Having said that, he did call me back like right before the meeting, and he said, "Hey, he was talking and I was thinking about it, and he said when you change out that check valve, he is concerned about sewage backflowing back once you cut it off and backflowing back from the pipe into where they're cutting it out. Has that ever been a problem you know of that it would be that problem?" He was concerned that it might increase his cost to have to deal with that sewage and dispose of it correctly, which, I told him it'd probably be putting it back in the tank, but, so having said that, if we just keep it at $150 a valve, for 125 valves, it's $18,750 plus the $4,300, so you're looking at about $23,000 for Zach to do the work and replace every check valve in the city. And then you still have to buy them for $135 a piece, so you're looking at, you know, $15,000 in that as well. So, you know, roughly about, probably closer to $40,000.
$40,000?
Yeah, to do the work. Get every check valve
They're all
done.
bad? Are all the check valves bad?
Well, they were put in at all about the same time, you know, in phase one and then phase
Yeah, we
two,
used to,
a little bit, a few years after that, so, you would think that they're probably all have reached their life. If we're having problems with them, you know, and that was just the thing, I guess, with this little bit extra infrastructure money that we got in, we're gonna go ahead and get that taken care of.
Are we doing any of the laterals or the piping?
So I know we kind of focus on the check valves at this time. The laterals, I've got that pricing as well, and I can look that up and send it to you. It wouldn't be that much more because there was only one on Summers Road. The two trailers right there by your house, the two trailers back there, I think they're linked together on one trunk line now. Smargy Lane's got one issue, and there's one issue on Hall Circle. So it's not nearly the Miller Road situation. But yeah, I mean,
Well, that's good.
you probably add another $10,000–$15,000 to handle those and get those off those trunk lines individually.
Should we bid that out separately, that part?
He had already bid on it. hadn't he?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, he's
We're doing it.
nervous
We need to
about.
do it.
He's like, I can't give you just a concrete price until he wants to see locations. He'd like to see a map done, which would take a little bit of more effort, but.
Right, he was concerned that the scope's not real
Yeah.
defined, real closely defined,
Well,
so it's.
let's get it defined, because if we can get this done and we can afford it, we really ought to do it.
I think we should move.
So,
I would
okay, let's
recommend
try to lock it down,
proceeding.
because I
Are we-
think everybody's in agreement, we need to go forward with that.
And honestly, if you, wait a little bit longer, we just turned in that application for the force main to gravity, so, you
Yeah,
know,
it could-
we
yeah.
might find out about that,
Could
and
be
say, well,
moot.
yeah.
Yep.
So,
Well, that's not gonna happen overnight though.
no, yeah,
And,
you're right,
You know, if somebody incur another $2,000–3,000,
you're right.
yeah.
My opinion is we should move forward. If he's do it at the set pricing that he already come down on and reduced, because we know that everything, look at our bid that came in, pricing is just getting higher.
Yeah.
And hey, and just tell them,
Fuel's getting higher.
if you can do it at this price, you can have the job, if not, then we're gonna have to rebid it. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
be
I'd say
done.
do it, yeah.
So,
I just wanna make sure those laterals are done, I mean, you know, they're done too, not just the check valves on those certain
and
places.
we will see, I don't know, Tracy will have to let us know if we can utilize any of the American Rescue Plan money for that.
Mhm.
If we can, we can certainly use some of that for that project if it's allowable.
And it may not be that expensive.
If not, we do still have funds in our capital improvement fund, and we'll just have to supplement it however, but this project, we need to move forward with this, and it's not ever gonna be any cheaper,
No.
Great.
so.
Thank you, Noah. Any other updates?
No, sir, just
So do we have
continuing
a
on the,
motion to- we had already approved, actually. Do y'all want to approve formally to move on with phase two then? Because we break it into the first
I
one
would,
was
I'd like to
phase
get it,
one.
I'd like to get it going.
Okay. Miss Mary makes a motion to approve.
okay.
Second.
Second by Chris, all in favor, aye?
Just that we're continuing on the survey, or the design of the city street resurfacing, and I'm very hopeful to get that finished up by the end of November and have first of the year, get that paved and everything. So if there's any issues, I'm gonna get with these guys when I'm almost get pretty close, about 90% on the design. I'm gonna get with these guys and we're gonna ride it and make sure there's no issues I need to know about that they've encountered over the years, but yes, we're getting close on that. I think that's about all that I have.
Thank you, Noah.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Jackson?
I don't think I have anything unless y'all have anything for me.
I'm good. No one from the sheriff's department on code enforcement. Mike will have to go get some stuff done somewhere else, he said. And,
Can I say something on Michael's part? He talked to me right outside real quick, but he got an email today or Friday about, that he'll have an inspection on November the 8th on the wastewater plant, with DEP, and the permit renewal is due next year, but you need to kind of do it about 180 days, 6 months in advance, to make sure everything's right. So I might be there with him on that, but, just know that'll be coming, and we'll probably just do like a real small fee just to kind of help put that permit together, because it's a lot of work. About every 10 years you gotta do it, so,
Good old government, I know how that works.
yeah.
Mr. Short Timer.
I'm gonna bring up my other stuff before then, okay?
Yeah, all right.
One thing was, with our equipment that we got received in our budget, the way things are now, like I want a zero turn, okay? Well, when we get ready, we'll put it in. Well, then you're behind everybody else, so they suggested that we write an intent to buy once we get our equipment, like the excavator, everything we got, we send in a letter of intent to buy as soon as they get it built, because there's none out there right now. You can't go buy a lawnmower, you can't go buy a tractor, you can't even buy a car, hardly. So they suggested that we do that, so that when it got that time, we wouldn't be, like, they figured probably around January, things would get a little better. But then if we wait till January to put ours in, we're gonna be way behind everybody else that's there. And they suggested that we put an intent to buy in there so that we'd be kind of in front of the line when they got, cause, the excavator could be as far as a year, 2 years out.
And that's
Events.
for the equipment we
Yeah.
put in the budget. Yeah.
Correct.
And I would say, I know exactly what you're talking about. My son-in-law runs a shop for Game and Fish Commission
I had
and try to
never-
buy an outboard motor for a
Yeah, you can
wildlife
forget an
officer,
outboard motor.
forget it. They
Yeah,
just,
you can forget
they're
that.
a year out. I mean, literally.
Yeah, and I never witnessed that before, so.
We're in some crazy times. So I
Okay.
would be in favor, and I see
We need a
Mr.
motion.
Val
I'll
shaking
make a
his head, he makes a motion.
Another thing, I
Ms.
need to
Mary,
ask
do you
you.
second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Mayor, we're all in
I'm
favor.
sorry,
Okay.
I got cranked up here. I got a lot of writing here that look like somebody else wrote it, but anyway, we were requested to put some no parking signs on by the graveyard over here, on Spring Street and Graveyard, because there's a log truck that started parking. I don't know if he lives in the housing project exactly where, but he parks there, and not only does he make the ruts, but also the oil and everything else right on the edge. And we get the pole, we get the signs if we have permission. The sheriff's office said they would enforce the sign if we put it up there. Just put 2 signs on each end of the graveyard there, I guess is what they're talking about. Well, that's the only place I've seen the truck.
I think it's a great idea.
Does it need to say something more specific than just no parking though? Are we saying no parking for trucks, no or parking for cemetery use only? Because if you put no parking there, then you have a funeral going on. They got nowhere to park. You gotta be careful how we word that.
No
Like
log truck
cemetery
parking.
use only, parking for cemetery use only
Do
or
what?
something.
No parking for cemetery use only. My car will be parking there, if y'all go over and skin him up, he's over in that trailer park. He ain't no good anyway, he might go over.
Who?
My car will
Rocky, I think we're definitely in favor, figure out
Yeah, we have to
the
figure out
right
how
way
to
and
talk
talk,
about it.
talk to the sheriff's office, since they're enforcing, so that it makes good sense, that's a good thing about them.
And I guess the next one is that I like that notice of separation from employment.
No,
I will be,
no.
I will be employed, I won't be separated from employment, but I will be somewhere else doing it. And I just got an opportunity and have to go for it. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's been a learning experience for me. I wouldn't trade it, but
Don't
do
they
it.
do it?
Yeah, I mean, and I turn over to council whatever they want to say, if they want to say something.
see it happen, but I don't hate seeing people get better jobs.
Richard's the only one that wouldn't accept my resignation.
My vote's no.
I know I probably speak for a whole lot of people that know what you've done for this city and know your integrity, know that all those things are why you got this wonderful opportunity presented to you. And
Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, it's been a learning for all of us. I think we've done very well, considering, but
How many years?
I think it was 11.
Right, I think
I
so.
think it's 11 years. But
Is that
it was,
all?
it's been good. I haven't had any problems with it. Finally trained Richard, got him. That was hard. And I will miss it. I got some good guys to work with. They'll jump in the fire department. That, you don't have that everywhere, so.
many,
I appreciate
many thank yous.
I appreciate the opportunity.
All the
And like I
good.
said, I don't know, it'd be hard fetch. You'll probably have to go at least to the Southern Express to find somebody to replace me. But I recommend Richard Mills.
I was thinking so.
Richard knows the,
Can we quit talking and
Which-
grind back there?
That, and I'm glad you said that, because frankly, I thought about it earlier, and my old mind forgets everything that's
Yeah, oh Lord,
not
brother.
sitting in front of me, but we need to, I guess, advertise so we can move to get this position filled just as soon as possible, because
and that's what I said, I
I
think,
wanna, I mean,
I would like to recommend
because
Richard
we have to
Because he
advertise,
knows
we can't,
more
we
than I
don't
do.
have a promote from within or anything like that policy, so I wish we did right now, but let's advertise it immediately to.
I've enjoyed it, I appreciate it, appreciate y'all working with us, Jordan.
Thank you.
Roger, when's the last day? Right now?
No, now. No, now I'm gonna probably try to, if I can, up through the end of this month, or whatever that date is, I can't remember. We was talking.
Trying to remember when payday is.
31. I'm gonna get that. I'll be that day.
Well, I'm gonna tell you my position, I'm for promoting. So,
I love you too.
As you know, you can't get back.
well, we'll talk about that, I mean, but.
I'll
Because
come
advertise. Advertise right now. Y'all wanna-
Ain't nobody gonna work
advertise
for
right
him.
now?
I'm definitely not.
It's about me.
I just try to-
Yeah. I, yeah, let me think on that.
I mean, I'm also good with promoting too.
Chief Harvey?
I think Carol's got a little talk. Do you give her a minute?
Just want to let you guys know that this week is Fire Prevention Week. And what we've done is just put together a couple of things over here. We already have this at our firehouse, but I thought the council would enjoy looking at some of the jobs that the guys do in the city and in the county. But we don't just fight fires, we do brush fires. We work at the school at Toller. We, do the 9/11 remembrance. So there's other things that we do. Also, with me being Red Cross representative for Liberty County, we install the smoke alarms. And so far for Liberty County, we've installed over 500 smoke alarms.
Wow.
And we're gonna get cranked back up again in January, now that I'm gonna be better. We'll be able to get back into houses and stuff, so we'll start our campaign starting in January to get back out there again and get them cranked back up again, because the more smoke alarms that go in the houses, the less fires we have. So if y'all take a look at some of the statistics we have on the board before you head out, we'd appreciate it, but we have a great bunch of guys and girls that are fighting fires. They're not just pretty faces. They are very dedicated people that love this city and love the county. So just thought maybe you guys might enjoy seeing a couple of pictures of what they do.
Thank you, Carol, that's great.
Say Dale's more than just a pretty face.
He is.
Well, you definitely photogenic.
I hope so.
That's for sure.
Hey, we do have our schedule of what we've done in 2019, 2020, and 2021. If you still take a notice where them fires are located, a bunch of them.
Inside and outside the
I
city.
think I know.
Way over half of them is outside our city.
Thank you, Dale and Carol.
Appreciate you guys.
Mr. Tony?
Yeah, I gotta bring you all up to date real quick. pass that around so everybody's got one. I've got the list of changes that either went into effect when signed or went into effect the first of this month. There's only a couple of them I think that are going to affect us here in Bristol, but I'm going to run through them real quick. These are mostly House bills, because that's where all legislation comes from these days. But I don't know if there's anybody in the audience wants to glance. I got 2 or 3 sheets of this extra. If somebody wants to look at it, share. The first one is small-scale amendments to the comprehensive plan, which means when we change a color on the map or something. Did I give you one of these, Council?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to make sure Robin gets one. This is
We got Robin. Oh, that's
well, this is something different she needs to have. What we have is up until October the 1st, when you want to change your map, small-scale amendment was 10 acres. This year it went to 50 acres. What that means for you is, with the exception of if we ever redrew the whole map, you're never going to submit a plan amendment to the state. Not that we've submitted any, because everything in the city is a mixed use, so there's nothing for us to change. But anyway, 403 restricts government, local government from permitting home-based businesses. This is something we do, and we have had some political struggles with it. What I handed to the attorney and to Robin is the Liberty County Attorney's interpretation of this law. I will tell you, Counselor, you probably want to look at it if you hadn't already, because I've gotten different interpretations from other attorneys I work with. But it's like anything that comes from the legislature, it's got some really fuzzy language in it. In some places it talks about residential zoning, but in a lot of cases, because we don't have zoning, it talks about areas of places that are zoned for residential use, or residentially zoned areas within a community. I don't even know what that is. It's not a defined term. So basically to us it means anywhere in the city. And since the county is also mixed use everywhere, so it means everywhere in the county too. But we're just going to have to look at it on a case-by-case basis if this comes up again. But basically my understanding of it is, if somebody wants to open a business in their house, we can't tell them no. All we can do is comment and restrict their parking, the way they conduct the business if it's outside of the house, and whether or not we see any impacts we have to mitigate on the neighbor outside the house. But inside the house, it doesn't matter what they want to do. They want to sell guns, they want to sell alcohol, they want to, whatever they want to do, this law preempts us from regulating. The next one is something called cottage foods operation. I don't think we've ever had that. It was described to me as somebody basically might bake cakes or something, or have special recipes inside their homes. And supposedly now we can't say anything about it if somebody wants to do it and distribute them. This next one hit in Liberty County. I didn't know the House bill. I wrote something down, and then I made a presentation a week or so ago, and the attorney told me he thought I wrote down the wrong number, so I took it out. It says that these solar farms are now an allowed use in any agricultural area. It doesn't say an agricultural land use, it doesn't say an area zoned for agriculture, it says an agricultural area, which means that legislators basically saying local governments, you can't restrict these solar farms anymore. So undoubtedly the energy people that developed these things got to the legislature. The only one to come from the Senate was Senate Bill 60, and this is something that does hit us because I think that our code does allow for anonymous complaints. And so this one prohibits us from doing anything if a complaint for code enforcement is anonymous.
So we need to amend our policy for that.
Well, I want your attorney to look at it. I get this from planners. It's attorneys teaching the class, but these are my notes. So he needs to look at it and see what he thinks the appropriate thing is. It wouldn't surprise me that half these don't get challenged. Same thing with House Bill 735. It preempts us from having business licenses. And I'm not sure if that means we can't issue the license, or we can't charge a fee for it, or if we can't keep a record of it. The language that they use, anytime I hear the legislature say preempt, that usually means they don't want the local government having anything to do with it. But I also think that we do have some kind of recording for people when they run a business.
Right, we don't actually issue a business license, but we make sure that they are properly licensed through the state.
And I'm having that problem in Branford, in Swanee County, and their attorney's looking into it because he said, I'm not sure we can do that. That's where we make sure they actually have a tax ID number and they, are a legitimate business before we treat them like a business. I'm not sure. That's going to take a legal interpretation of what we do with it. We don't have any design elements, but it looks like no one may be working on one for your streetscapes, and this prohibits us from doing that, for having design elements. These little communities in Central Florida where you go through and every one of them's got an awning that's all got the same striping on it. The legislature in this infinite wisdom has now told local governments, you're not smart enough to regulate that. You can't do it. They amended the Byrd-Harris Act again. That's a common thing. Usually when a developer gets denied for something and he wants to sue and he loses the suit, he goes to his legislature, pays his legislature, and they pass an amendment that allows him to get his suit through. And the last one hits us at home, and we got to deal with it right away. House Bill 59 requires that we adopt a property rights element, and the safe harbor language in the legislation is what I have before you. My recommendation to you as your planner is that we adopt exactly what they tell us to adopt, and we do it as a standalone amendment. And I'd be ready to start it, advertise and do it next month if y'all are okay with this language, but I want you to read it. There's nothing in here that stands out to me. And for the life of me as a planner, having done this going on 36 years now, I don't think you would ever violate any of this on a land use decision for a comp plan. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me. The only thing I can figure is somebody got upset, probably about the stand their ground law, and wanted to put something in here because somebody was trying to protect their property. But this language is innocuous. It doesn't make sense to me, so there's no telling what the background is for this. But basically what happens is we elect people, our representative, God bless them, God save them, give them wisdom. They've never served in local government. They have no idea, most of them, and they go to Tallahassee and they pass laws saying, city councils, county commissions, y'all are too dumb to govern your own local government, so we're going to do it for you sitting in Tallahassee 2 months out of the year. And I'm sorry, that's my soapbox. I'll get off of it now. But I mean, But anyway, I need you to think about this bottom stuff in the red. My recommendation is the first page of the plan. We put a page in there and we call it our property rights element, and we adopt these exact words and we send it to them and get it approved, because starting 1st of October, we can't do anything else with our comp plan until we do this.
We need a motion to try to get this going. Is there a motion to adopt this language into the plan?
What you need is probably a motion to give us permission to advertise for and then get it started. But we've been spending money, so we need to do that.
But so the language, you're saying they haven't put in like what their intent was?
No, it's that, when you read the legislation, it just simply says all local governments shall, before they can do anything in their plan, adopt a property rights element, and they give you the language. I mean, through our planning questionnaires and stuff like that, we've asked them, does that mean it's got to have the same format as the other elements in the plan? Which means, do we have to have goals, objectives, and policies? And their answer is always, that's up to y'all. Just make sure you write these words.
But we'll come hang you if we don't.
If you don't.
Yeah.
I know how that works. Ms. Mary's made a motion to advertise.
I don't see anything egregious in the language.
No, it's fine.
It just seems, some of it seems really
Stupid.
well, stupid, but ambiguous in that.
And you couldn't fix it, when it's, so we just play the game. It's the law.
So a motion to advertise the.
Okay, motion by Ms. Mary, second by Chris, all in favor, aye. We'll advertise. Thank you, Tony.
It'll come before you, it'll be an agenda item next month, the public hearing.
This past session, they just seem to take local government to the woods.
Usually you have about 9 or 10 of these that are filed every year and none of them pass. This year, every single one of them passed, and as soon as they hit the governor's desk, he signed it.
I kept reading the stuff League of Cities put down, it's like, good. thank you, sir.
Too bad we can't ask them to come run the city.
Yeah, or fund the things you put on us sometimes and things like that. Okay, Ms. Robin?
I think it would be, no, well, but I think this is the time that if we're going to have a lobbyist, it's time for us to consider advertising for that. I had thought Noah might have some insight on that, but, I know that, we're having to put in our legislative requests, at this time, so I would think it's the time to begin seeing if we can get some bites on these for lobbyists and, grants coordinator.
And we did budget for both
We
of these
budgeted
items.
for both.
Does
So-
anyone,
Make a motion to
motion by Mr. Wright,
advertise.
Second.
second by Ms. Mary, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Done.
That's all for me.
Ms. Mary?
I'm good.
You're good. Mr. Chris?
I'm good.
And I thank everyone for being here. I thank those two gentlemen sitting out there that want to be involved in this stuff up here. That's wonderful. Can't wait to get y'all here next week, to get y'all on this thing or have whatever the council does, but I'm all in favor of it. So, thank you. And is there a motion?
Motion to run.
By Mr. Bow, second by Ms. Mary. All in favor, aye. Thank you very much. Thank y'all for putting up with me.